Coming up tonight, they're all first-time NMPs and we'll be hearing from one of them, former national swimmer Mark Che.
These are not the biggest waves in the world, but hey, they're good enough for a sport of surfing, at least in Singapore.
And hot or not, tell us what you think of Man United's Chinese New Year collection. I might actually get that top. Welcome to the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Dylan Ang.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chow Suen. Months after the general elections, we're finally getting to meet the final 9 members of Parliament. Singapore's 9 nominated members of Parliament were announced today.
Olympic swimmer Mark Che, conservation scientist Koh Lian Pin and clinical director Dr. Tan Ya Swam are among the 9 new NMPs who will be appointed by President Halimah Yacob for a 2.5-year term starting January 21st. All are first-time MPs. Speaking to us on Newsnight, incoming NMP Mark Che says he's excited and ready to take on this new role.
I'm very thankful that the select committee has given a voice to the sporting community, and it's a great indication that that sports plays a huge part in Singapore, especially how we come out from the pandemic. I really believe that through the participation of sports and the accessibility of sports, we can build a resilient nation. We see a lot of concerns with mental health as well as social isolation, and really one way that we can really combat these is through sports and making it accessible.
That was incoming NMP Mark Che speaking to us earlier. He's one of 9 new NMPs. They were chosen by a special select committee of Parliament chaired by Speaker Tan Chuan Jin from a total of 61 nominated candidates.
And a worrying statistic emerges as the results for Singapore's first ever nationally representative survey on workplace sexual harassment is released. According to a survey of 1,000 Singapore citizens and permanent residents, 2 in 5 workers in Singapore have been sexually harassed at the workplace in the past 5 years. The survey was done in 2020 by market research company Ipsos in collaboration with gender equality organisation AWARE. Ms. Shaili Hingorani, Head of Research and Advocacy at AWARE, tells us more.
Up until now, we've not had any national data on its prevalence. This survey changes that. It affirms that workplace sexual harassment is highly prevalent. The second important finding from the survey is that we now have a better understanding of people's reporting behaviors. Victims of workplace sexual harassment, the survey shows, do not report. Only 3 out of 10 victims of workplace sexual harassment actually went on to report their sexual harassment to official authorities. The survey also shows that there's a major gap in understanding what constitutes sexual harassment. That, to me, is a huge gap that we can easily fill. So yes, it is shocking, but it's also a solvable problem. Hopefully, this survey, the results of this survey will allow companies to recognize that workplace sexual harassment is a problem for everybody.
Looking at Singapore's COVID-19 situation, 45 new cases were confirmed today, with 1 in the community. There were no new cases in foreign workers' dormitories. The remaining 44 were imported ones and had been placed on stay-home notice or isolated on arrival here. And in a long-delayed mission, a team of experts from the World Health Organization has landed in Wuhan, China, to conduct a probe into the origins of the coronavirus. Transiting through Singapore, they flew via a budget airline into China today for an investigation that is expected to last several weeks. WHO's chief had said his organization looked forward to working with China on the mission to identify the source of the virus and how it had entered the human population. They had been set to arrive earlier this month, and China's delay of their visit drew rare public criticism from the agency's chief.
In a stunning move just days before US President Donald Trump is due to leave office, 10 members of his Republican Party joined the Democrats to impeach him by 232 to 197 votes. They charged him with incitement of insurrection over the deadly siege of the Capitol last week.
In signing the article of impeachment, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ensured that Trump becomes the only president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. She called him a clear and present danger to the nation and that he must go. The article now goes to the Senate, which must conduct a trial followed by a vote. Speaking of going, pallets of empty boxes were delivered to the White House grounds yesterday as the clock continues to tick down. Trump is expected to move down to his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida after he leaves office on January 20th.
Meanwhile, actor Macaulay Culkin appears to fully support a petition by fans to digitally remove Donald Trump's cameo from the 1992 movie Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. In a reply to one fan who did just that, removing Trump from the movie, the now 40-year-old actor replied in a single word: "Bravo."
Let's take a look at what's been trending on social media and sparking conversations today. Now, what comes to your mind when you think about surfing?
Ooh, Bali or maybe Hawaii?
Well, think Singapore. Now, enthusiasts here were in for a treat when rare waves were spotted at Changi. Dozens of surfers gathered at a spot near the National Service Resort and Country Club as waves just high enough to ride were spotted on Wednesday afternoon. They are nearly unheard of in Singapore as conditions need to be just right. What a sight to see, and I'm glad everyone's having a bit of fun and making the most out of the conditions.
Yeah, I think I'll go and get my board. Guys, be safe and wear a leash because it serves up.
Now moving on, 3 days on and it's still a mystery why the waterway running through Sentosa's South Cove turned a pinkish purple as you see behind us. The first warning that something was amiss came last week when residents detected a sewage-like smell and then dead fish were found near the banks of the waterway.
Now here's what it looks like today. The waterway appears to have turned into a dark purple color. One expert told the Straits Times the colored water was caused by a form of algae bloom, resulting from high amounts of nutrients such as phosphorus and nitrogen. For now, residents are advised to refrain from water sport activities as officials continue to monitor the waters.
You've heard of driverless cars, but what about self-driving road sweepers? Trials have begun for such sweepers in limited areas such as One North, Nanyang Technological University and Clean Tech Park at Jurong Innovation District.
Should trials be successful, these Autonomous Environmental Service Vehicles, or AESVs, will pave the way for pilot deployment on roads during off-peak hours in the next few years. These vehicles were developed by two consortia, one consisting of NTU, Anway, Sem Waste and Wongfong Engineering Works, and the other by ST Engineering. Trials are expected to run till July. With Chinese New Year just around the corner, international brands have begun launching special or limited edition items, hoping to reach out and cash in on the occasion.
Adidas is no exception. The question is though, would you wear it? The likes of Donny van de Beek, David De Gea, Paul Pogba were seen modelling Manchester United's new Chinese New Year range, and it seems that fans are excited. It's not the first time the club has launched a CNY range. Last year's design was perhaps significantly louder. Hot or not, let us know in the comments below.
Now, in case you missed it, Bablu and Susie took the flight of a lifetime in December and have safely arrived in Jordan from Pakistan. The two 17-year-old highly endangered Himalayan brown bears made the trip via DHL and are now settled into their new homes. This comes after years of poor care at a zoo in Pakistan.
According to global animal welfare organization Four Paws International, these days Bablu is busy playing in his pool while Susie prefers to play with hanging tires and other enrichment. The two bears will be moved to a much larger enclosure at the end of January when their quarantine period is over.
And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
Now before we go, here's wishing all our Tamil viewers a bountiful Pongal or Harvest Festival. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.